It's the 20th of September. And every year I talk about which ones are keepers and which ones aren't keepers. So I thought I'd just go over a few of the things that I think are keepers this year. And first one down on this end is still going. That's a Marketmore 76. Still has cucumbers on it, and we've just gotten tons of cucumbers this year. More than we've ever harvested, actually. This one is definitely a keeper. Doesn't look like much now, but the gem corn did really well for us this year, and I'd call it a keeper. And when it comes to peppers, I'd say the Oda is definitely a keeper. I really like that little pepper. Right next to it is the Midnight Dreams. I'd call that a keeper. And this was the first time I've grown poblanos, and I'll definitely grow them again. They've done really well. I'd call those a keeper. And the Cayenne chili peppers, I've never grown those before. I'd call those a keeper. They've done really well in our garden. The black Hungarian, I'd call it a keeper. It's very similar to a jalapeno though, as far as the ones I've harvested. And now for the eggplants. This is the first year I've ever grown the Matoyo, and I'd call it a keeper. And then right here, next where I'm standing, is the Listada de Gandia. It's done really well for us. I'd also call it a keeper. And the Carbon, it's a keeper for me this year. I've grown Cherokee Purple and the Carbon, and I'd call them very similar in taste. I really like the taste of flavor of the Carbon, but it seems like the Carbon has set on better for me and performed better in our garden than the Cherokee Purple did. So it's a keeper. And one that I really liked this year was the Lucid Gem. It just went right through the heat with no problems at all, and that's a huge plus in our garden. Like the taste of it, and it continued to set on during the hotter months, so it's definitely a keeper. And the Ava Purple Ball, I've really liked it. And it just keeps pumping out tomatoes. Even though we're in the middle to late part of September, we're going to still have lots of tomatoes on this thing. And the Arkansas Traveler, I really like the taste of this one. It's got similar habits to the Ava Purple Ball. The tomatoes have been a little on the smallish side compared to the Ava Purple Ball for me, but I just have one plant, so it may just be the location it's in. But as I mentioned, I really love the taste on this one. Even though I haven't talked about them much, I've been impressed with the Texas Hill Country Red Okra. It's done really well for us, and that one, that tallest one there, is probably getting close to 9 feet tall. And the red foliated cotton has done extremely well for us. First time I've ever grown cotton. I really enjoyed watching it grow, and as you can see, it's got lots of cotton bolls opening up, and we're going to have plenty of seeds from that. And this is a zinnia that I produced myself. I've never seen one like it, so if you have seen one just like it, let me know. but it's kind of a peach color with pink streaks through it. A little bit different than some I've seen. I'm going to save seeds from it, and we'll see what it does next year. It's getting a little bit of powdery mildew on it. Now for a few that I've grown before, but I definitely consider them keepers. The Japanese black trifle here, it was a volunteer, so it's later than everything else, and as you can see, it's just starting to get lots of ripe tomatoes on it now. It did well for me last year, and it's doing very well this year. And the long purple eggplant, grew it last year. I really like this thing. It just keeps on pumping out eggplants. Heavy producer. Then this is another volunteer, but I grew it last year and really liked it. I didn't really plan to grow one this year, but it grew anyway. It's a volunteer. It came up in the strawberries. The main vine is right down in there, and it's grown over into the corn, over there, through here, down through here, over here. It's just going everywhere, but it has plenty of tomatoes on it and seems to be doing okay, considering I've just totally let it do its own thing. Let me see if I can get down here. You can see it's got lots of tomatoes on it. I've harvested a few, and we've got tons more to pick when they get ripe. But that's a good one. And the Boxcar Willie is one that I've grown before, and I definitely call it a keeper. I just noticed one with a nose on it. But it's just a good tasting, dependable little tomato. And the Dwarf blue curly kale has done really well for us. I've grown it before, and I'll definitely grow it again. I just like the way it performs in our garden. It's almost looking like a palm tree. They're about shot now, but I really like the Kentucky blue pole beans. We've gotten tons of beans off of these. I grew them last year. I really liked them last year, and this year they've done just as well, if not a little better. I really love the way they perform in our garden. Love the taste of them. They're a good looking bean. They seem to just keep producing. You just can't find too many things bad about them, that's for sure. I'll probably grow some again next year. It's my favorite pole bean I've found so far. Then there are a couple things that's too early to tell. If I get a crop off of these, it's going to be a keeper. As you can see, it's loaded with fruit. This is the Naranjia, but it's got tons of fruit set on. Just a matter of if they have time to ripen. But it's done really well. Then right next to it is the con, and like the Naranjia, whether or not it becomes a keeper will depend on if I get a harvest and what it tastes like. But it was kind of an interesting thing to grow, even though it had some real challenges this year. It's kind of bounced back pretty well. But we'll find out before too long whether this is a keeper. Then the Marconi red sweet pepper is one that I'm kind of on the fence about. I'm not sure on it. This one here is done fairly well. I may grow it again, I'm not sure. Still thinking about it. I love the taste of them. It's trying to convince me with this late crop of peppers up the top. Hopefully I didn't miss any. That's some of the ones that have done well for us this year and in years past. If you're just finding this channel and haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Otherwise, like, comment, and share. We'll see you next time.